According to Zoom, I'm live. Now let's see where are we for YouTube? There we go. Good morning, everyone. Yes, it is still morning. I do have, that's okay to say. It's Monday, December the 9th. Yep, yes, December the 9th, 2024. And this first part of today's little gathering, little get together, I don't know, maybe there's a way to, well, I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, I shared with you guys yesterday that I was going to go see, I don't usually do this, not because of any kind of reason other than economic. Don't usually go to the, movie theater. Um, but wow, man, my housemate Jasmine has now seen this movie. I think yesterday made the third time, right? Um, I've known about The Wicked on Broadway, right? And off Broadway. It's actually been uh, done in the musical theater here in North Carolina, but I've never seen it. And I mean, quite frankly, it wasn't until maybe Fawn will remember Fawny D, in case you are not aware who I'm speaking of. She has her own channel now. I hope you're tuning into her. At any rate, she participated with us during an experimental uh, conversations that we were having, right? And the Wizard of Oz kept coming up. And I just love the Wizard of Oz. I mean, there's lots of decoding out there about the Wizard of Oz. And I actually have been called to notice and have for a long time now that a lot of almost everything, every movie, every book, every word coming out of everybody's mouth really can be taken two ways, at the very least, two ways, and maybe even three. And so it depends on one's perspective and how willing and open a being is to having that perspective challenged and or expanded. And I say challenged because for me, I so very clearly see now where triggers are absolutely invitations to go deeper. At least it has been for me. Your individual mileage is absolutely going to vary. But so back to the original story here, I was telling you about how I think it had to have been sometime in 2021, maybe even 2019, right before. I'm not quite sure because all of that is sort of a blur now for me. Um, but during that period of time, as synchronicity would have it, right after all of this came in for Fawn in regards to a very specific conversation that we had all been taking part of, and she was sort of remote viewing things. I think Crystal was doing that with us too. At any rate, The Wizard of Oz came up strongly. And I don't know, like 2 days later, I got a local ad for Ollie's. Anybody ever hear of Ollie's outlet stores? Good stuff cheap or whatever. Good morning, Daryl. In the Ollie's ad, I saw an ad for the entire set. of Wizard of Oz books. Okay. So, of course, I went right down and bought it because I was that many years old before I knew that it was an entire set of books. I had no clue. I mean, I was born in the 60s, but I don't know when that movie actually came out, but I think it was older than I am. And all I ever knew was that movie. And I mean, I knew it, a book had been written, but I never knew that it was an entire set. This is the first I heard. Oh, good morning, David. I'm so glad to see you here. Thank you for joining us. Daryl, my good friend David. Ah, I'm so glad to see you here. Okay, so the truth of the matter for me of all of this, I'm saying all of this to tell you that The Wizard of Oz has struck again in some interesting ways for me. And I'm sure there's lots of different takes out there, and I'm not going to give any spoilers about Wicked, the movie. But let me just say, you better take some tissues, honey, because if you see it from the perspective I did, no, 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 you won't. You'll want to have some tish handy. Trust me when I tell you that. Um, I couldn't. I'm telling you, I actually audibly lost it. Uh, I will say this. I saw so much of that came from source. And depending on the perspective one holds, and it would be real easy to be angry and decide that this person is bad and this person is good. I was shown yet and again how humanity is not what it's been painted to be. And as soon as everybody wakes up to the fact that we're really just dealing with each other on every sort of level. Anyway, I had to share that with you. If you have not seen the movie, it is a musical, and I felt like it was very well done. And again, I had never seen it, so I didn't know that there was even a story. I mean, of course there is, but that it had actually been created, that the original story was this many books long. This is where I am with my granddaughter. That's as far as we've gotten on it because we don't get to see each other all the time. At any rate, like I said, if you have the opportunity, go. Um, if it's not for you to be in theaters, I'm sure that it will at some point be streamable. But whew, wow. And if for me, like I said, it's and I've heard a lot of different things after the fact of people that have now decided that this person over here, and I don't want to give any spoiler alerts, is the evil one, right? I don't I don't see it that way. But what I do see is an unawakened being and the opportunity to awaken quite quickly. When one first discovers that whatever one has idolized is not as one always thought, that's a shock to the system. Anyone who's ever done any digging into, well, anything really that we're told is true, you kind of know what that's like, especially if it's your hero. So the Remy deck obviously is always coming out. Ooh, I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. Oh my, we got the new gown. And I'm sorry, but that's exactly, oh, wow. Okay. Apparently, there's going to be a lot of synchronicity with that movie for me today because I'm talking about it. Of course, there is. Um, Ooh, it feels like big energy, y'all. Let me just say this, and it could because I woke up this morning. By the way, this is uh I decided this was how my hair looked when I got out of bed, and I am not kidding you. So this is literally bare bed hair. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. If this is what we're doing today, I'm all right with that. Looks pretty good. If I don't say so myself. This is a real big moment, y'all. I feel like because I felt like two trucks ran over me when I woke up. That's why I'm here so late because my intention was to to get up and go. I need to get my car inspected as I'm going to visit Bristol. So I hope everybody's doing well. Uh, I, it could be just a function of having seen Wicked and the fact that it touched a part of me that I've been so called to get in touch with, that wounded inner child. That's where, for me, it's at because that's where it all starts. And when you realize that your inner wounded inner child, I because I thought she was a little bit older than what I'm learning she is. It's around 5 that the oh, okay. Can I just say only fellows have said good morning to me so far? There's 5 of you in here, and only 2 have said hello. Both I feel are male. I know the David is because we've met in person. And the himself card came out. Now I said, and Daryl, you were present for that during an intuitive hangout session that I had. And David, I shared this with you. And I think it was the first one I'd had in quite some time. I would have to go back and see about that. Um, Tell me, that Thanksgiving night. James, I think you were here for that too. I'm not certain. Were you guys here the night that it was all males that asked for cards? Was I know at least 1 or 2 of you were here. I know that David wasn't because I told you after the fact. At any rate, I said then that I felt that the sacred masculine was rising in a very real way, right? Because in all the years that I've done this, I've had, 1 or 2, but never, ever, ever had I had an entire session. And I think it was Vanessa, it might have been someone else, but someone came in at the very end when I had already said I was leaving because I had to tinkle so bad. And I felt it that night. So maybe I'm being reminded here again. Oh, you were listening that night. Okay. All right. Yes, it was James and Daryl. Okay. So I will point again. I'm only seeing 5 people in the chat room. One of them I know is me because dun, 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 there we go. I said me, and I'm not signed in on my phone as New Light Streaming Love. I'm only on my, so there's 4 here. Of those 4, 3 of you I know now are male. So, y'all, can I just say, to me, this is highly exciting. Because again, I've been doing this since 2017 is when Conscious Conversation Central first started. It's 2024. So what is that? 7 years? I know, I think it's 7 years. Um, and like I said, it's it's been here. It's not that it's been totally absent, but I also want to say something very specific, speak very specific to that. Because I have a high masculine. I don't know what this is about, y'all. Wow. Actually, it opened up yesterday. Something opened up in me yesterday, and last night woof, okay, so there's a lot coming in. Please slow down. Okay, perhaps Wicked is carries some codes and keys. Oh yeah. Wow. Because uh my housemate Jasmine has now seen it 3 times. I think it might have something to do with opening the heart chakra. Oh wow. Oh, for those, and it won't be for everyone, please understand that. Don't go and spend your money and then come back and say, okay, where's my. That's not how this works. If you're not already drawn, don't do it. Okay. Because that is not how any of this works. This is why I cannot and would not ever charge for anything that I want to call as gifts because there's no guarantee that it will work for you. This is why I love the fact that a human design talks about it being an experiment for you. This is what we're meant to do with our lives, experiment with things and find out what opens it. Wow. Okay. Well, thank you, Jasmine, for. I mean, I probably wouldn't have, uh, because I'm just not a fan of the theaters anymore. It's not my gig, and there's nothing bad about it necessarily. But I did enjoy the going there and watching it in the way that we did yesterday. Wow. Okay. All right. Well, nothing like tuning in to see an old lady cry over I don't even know what, eh? But I feel like it's a momentum time and the fact that of the 5 people here, let's see, that's 3. Yep, James, Daryl, and David. All 3 of you are male, so I'm number 4, so there's 1. It actually doesn't matter because I have a high degree of masculine in me. Is that what this is about? Oh, that's what this is about for me. Oh, wow. My masculine is opening up and softening. That's oh, wow. Okay. Wow. Hi, Crystal. Oh, I'm so excited to see you tomorrow. There's a lot. I don't know why, but I just reached out and grabbed the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle. Isn't that interesting? I don't usually use that in the morning here. Crystal, if you're just joining, you're going to have to go back and take a listen because, wow, I think I've been clear channeling and ooh, I think I really do. For anyone who feels drawn to that, for any reason, if you just always, because I went because I love musicals and I've always loved The Wizard of Oz. That's why I went. And if, oh, are you what? You two, what? You want to come join me? If you have time, you're welcome to. You know the number. Come right in because wow. First of all, I'm late because I'm late this morning because I woke up feeling like a truck had hit me. No, I said two trucks earlier. Flip it upside down. Oh, question your beliefs. Oh, wow. This is, and people think that means something else when they see it on my wall. And let me just say this. Uh, I've actually had people, like have an issue with that without even asking what does it mean. Which is a point for me. Defying gravity has many codes, tones encoded, incredibles. The whole, oh my God, I'm sorry, but the whole thing. For even if you, for me, even if I didn't think it was affecting me, like I obviously felt it was affecting Jasmine, it did affect me, right? I said there were different parts of it that I could see from a perspective that I'm sure not everyone will see, understand that. That's partly why there are as many ways to become your embodied larger self as there are beings on this planet. The path is so wide. It can accommodate it all. We only don't allow it to be because we are taught to limit ourselves. And for a time that serves because with focus and attention, that is how we create. I'm positive of that. We've been fooled for far too long by folks who claim to be things that they're not. And only but understand that you won't see it until you're ready because you won't allow yourself to see it. That's a well-known psychological truth, by the way. So, I mean, for me, wow, how many cards am I going to pull here? And I don't mean to keep you guys all that long, but oh my God, there's so much running through me. I don't know what to think. I'm just positive that what's happening here is the rise of the masculine in such a way that it's opening my heart chakra. Oh, two came out again. Surrender, procrastination. I have an issue with that, I have to tell you. But as a projector, I'm also aware that I don't create my own energy. It's something that, like it or not, but it has to be a reciprocal thing because I don't like the idea of my aura receiving energy from others. That's why one has to wait for the invitation. I would just heard in my head, oh, you mean like vampires? Well, yeah, sort of, kind of in a way. I'm not gonna lie, I've thought about that. Being a projector. Okay, and this one is surrender to divine timing, and I really have an issue with this one. Let me just say, sometimes divine timing may differ from your ego's timing. If a goal isn't manifesting, quote, fast enough according to your ego, be patient and trust the universal flow. Oh, who hasn't had issues with that? That's a constant. That's a constant thing. But see, part of what I feel, and this is brought home in the soul's journey, uh, in that things appear at the speed of thought in other realms, and we're not used to that because our thoughts are not pure and focused all the time. Not like they would be there. I mean, we're just so not having to even think about it, I guess, apparently. Yeah, and this one I feel like is, all my life it was, said that that's part of the issue I have is procrastination. But if I see it, I'm having a hard time sometimes understanding all of what it is because it goes so against the grain of what we've been told, right? Surrender procrastination. Now is the time to jump on a goal instead of putting it off. Taking action will attract success. Well, see, here's the thing for me personally, and this is why I guess I got to look at it again. I, I I only do what I feel drawn to do when I'm drawn to do it, and I don't have a goal, monetarily in mind because I know that I would rather just hold it open and allow whatever to appear because I will tell you, never in my life would I have ever thought in the entire world to charge the kind of money that I have been paid to, not paid, but, gifted just for being who I am. The universe provides when it's required, and a lot of the things that I have desired, when they show up, I got second thoughts about. So I don't know. There's a lot there to experiment with, and as I said before, your individual mileage absolutely will vary as to how it presents to you, how you delve into it, all of these things. But I really do feel like this is part of that opening here. Himself wants to come out first, even though, himself, the gown, and flip it upside down, question your beliefs. I mean, wow. Natural law, life force, magic, shamanic power. Known as himself, this Siddha is guardian of both the hunter and the hunted, and finds no conflict in that because he understands the many necessary balances of nature, the living bond between all life. Himself is the breath that moves, the atom that dances, and his magic is in pure being, living, loving. Arjuna's journeyman and the master maker have the magic of doing, of the creation of things. The bright mother has the magic of manifesting and nurturing. But himself, he has the magic of procreation, of dancing the spark of life into being. His presence brings magic and life into a world where it is shaped and given form by the Earth Mother. He dances as the bright mother gives us birth, powering us into the world. He is the great Father. At the other end of our lives, he is the one who dances the great dance of life and death. And it is himself who, when the piper plays his lonely call on the wave-swept shore at year's end, dances open the gate between the worlds so that the dead may pass beyond. It is also he who is willing to sacrifice himself when that is necessary for the sake of those whom he protects. Wow, I just recorded the chapter yesterday, one of the last chapters of A Soul's Journey, that talks just exactly about that very thing right there. Wow. In between those two extremes, his wild yang energy is channeled through humans to benefit tribe and family. His family is all of us, human and animal. I cannot. Ugh. Shaman draw upon his power, and the best healers channel a balance between his power and the bright mother's nurturing energy. Even as our hearts beat within us, we learn to mediate the life force through joyful being and action, expressing this power through healing and love and trust. We become more like himself. Wow. Speaking of masculinity, I know, I heard. I'm so glad to hear that because what that would have done, ugh, when himself appears in a card spread, he not only indicates that a great amount of energy is present in the reading, but he also strongly energizes the fairy cards around him. Wow. Everything he touches becomes more of whatever it is, more alive, more vigorous, more powerful, more awesome, or more awful. This card in a reading can indicate great vitality, victory, or triumph, confidence, and power. There is leadership and ability to command, steadfastness, and integrity, wild power held and channeled for the good of all by will. Wow. If that's not the sacred masculine, I don't know what is. And I for one am glad that it feels like that to me. And I want to say that I feel like overall males have had a really tough time. Um, so many wrong signals, so much, um, so much. I don't know how to even explain it. I'll be honest with you, that too was showed to me yesterday in Wicked. Oh wow. Because women have it too. They're over masculinized in such a dark way. It's such a toxic way of having to prove who you are and be because everybody's going to laugh at you if you're something different, when that's the whole effing point of coming here and doing this. I mean, wow. Okay, we got to pull this together now. Come on. Let me just say thank you so much. I feel like it's mostly those who are ready for that heart chakra, that chamber in the heart that resides that masculinity that's either toxic and desirous of being seen and recognized and allowed to release all of that toxicity that's been built up before trauma after trauma after trauma being heaped upon that wounded inner child that learned how to tamp everything down. Yep, that's exactly what this is. Oh, boy, I'm going to tell you something. This is what uh, this is better than any therapy I've ever spent any money on. I'll tell you that. Oh my word. And it's being done at the speed and the pace that I can handle. And if you're here, there's a reason that you came here today. Wow. We are all so very connected if we just allow ourselves to notice that and move through life in that kind of fashion. The beauty that is revealed. Whew, okay, wow. I don't know, man. I'm going to try to read this next one, but I don't know if I can do it because this one's a new gown. It's card number 18. This too was very well depicted yesterday to me. Um, so if you're just joining us, I don't know what to say. You'll have to back it up and check it out. But if you are just joining us, it is because you were called here. At this point, I feel like that's a true statement. Whether you're watching now live or you feel to come later, there's a reason. It will be different for each, and the way to well, obviously from the what I'm doing, lay your guts on the table and take a look at them. Will also be different for each. Not everybody's called to go and lay it all out on YouTube like Sheila. But apparently, this is the way I need to see into my own field. So thank you very much for being here because y'all are very helpful if you don't realize. Okay, so this one is a new gown. Weary and consumed by longing, I was caressed by my. Oh, wow. Okay. Just fair warning. Apparently, this is about to be full on Tammy Faye. For those of you too young to know who that is, just Google it. Look for images. Okay. Starting to burn my eye. I knew there was something going on there. Okay. Weary and consumed by wow, I can see that better without them. Hold on a second. Weary and consumed by longing, I was caressed by my beloved last night. My wounded soul was set free. When I tasted the sweetness of love, my spirit was lifted at once. I surrendered my life. Wow, weren't we just talking about that? Didn't we say right here, wasn't there a part there that there was self-sacrifice if necessary? I'll tell you what the sacrifice is for me today. The sacrifice is the facade that toxic whatever, and it may not be that harsh, right? But it's the word that keeps coming about it because that's I guess the word that most people use. But I see it as trauma heaped upon trauma, defense mechanism after defense mechanism after defense mechanism. And well, then you got a whole bunch of toxicity, right? That's what it feels like to me anyway. Weary and consumed by, oh, wow. I just saw it again. Oh, wow. Weary and consumed by longing, I was caressed by my beloved last night. My wounded soul was set free when I tasted the sweetness of love. My spirit was lifted at once. I surrendered my life while overflowing with joy, and my vision was filled with light. Love said, "Don't feel so hopeless, my weary and gloomy one, for my generosity is beyond forgetting those devoted to me. See how boundless divine justice can be. Behold my immeasurable kindness." Love embraced my spirit, and all my doubts vanished at once. A new and glorious robe of honor was placed on my shoulders. Love offered me the power of new vision and the transforming touch of divine generosity and placed the chalice of eternal wine in my hand. Rumi. Oh, I feel like, and it's very clear that I said last night to Lisa that I felt I knew I was not feeling just my own stuff. This is way too much more than just for me because it started in a very real way last night when we got home. Oh wow. It feels like everything is flipped upside down. Oh wow. I have the perfect gift for you. It is a gown of new colors, of colors perfectly suited to you and no other. The colors of this gown will make your eyes sparkle and gleam as though they were more beautiful than the most precious of gems. The colors of this new gown will make your skin seem luminous as if lit from within. Ha! I cannot unsee that movie yesterday, y'all. I'm so sorry. That is, now I'm going to do the ugly cry. What? Oh, can we spare everybody the snot dripping from the nose, please? I mean, that's a little bit much, don't we think? Uh, well, this is what it looks like when you sit on the other side of my bedroom mirror. Well, I never was one to do stuff in private, apparently. This is the ultimate in being the first on the dance floor. I mean, come on, really? Oh, I have oh, where did I leave off? The colors of this new gown will make your skin seem luminous as if lit from within. For of course it is. Beautiful angel, your complexion is radiant with the light of life. Boy, I don't feel like it at the moment. I still feel like that truck ran me slap over. Your hair will shine with luster, and your being will be complemented by this gown as it enhances your beauty in all ways. And I said I came here with bed hair. Come on, y'all. This is so funny. I can't even. So behold, so hold on no longer to that shabby, tattered cloak so unworthy of you. Cast it off. Let me grace your shoulders now with this royal robe instead, that you may shine beautifully as befits a royal child of divine parentage. Ah, beloved, if you could only see the incredible gift, the symbolic robe being offered to you now, your fears would quake and tremble, disappearing more quickly than you could imagine. Your heart would take wings and become so light your entire being would lift clean off the ground and soar like an angel bird amongst the playground of the Divine Mother's skies. Yet, like a young one, so much younger than your years and wisdom warrant, you may hold on. I'm sorry, but again, I just flashed that movie. I I can't. When did Wicked first come out? And how true? Who is there anybody here now, or will be here later, or feels so inclined to look this little piece of trivia up and tell me when did Wicked first appear on the Broadway? Or like, I guess I'm interested in when it was written because it would have had to have been probably in production for at least a year or two before it went on stage. So I'm just wondering if anybody if anybody knows, and if anybody has seen both that and the movie, how true to the original is it? Because I tell you, uh, this is quite interesting to me. This whole path now feels like another little thing that has my attention because there's too much that's coming up. There's a deeper, broader something The pieces are so, I mean, talk about puzzle piece collecting. There's some huge highlighting going on here for me, that's revealing a whole new level to my inner puzzle. And wow. Okay. Yet, like a young one, so much, no, I already read that. Though you know it is time to let go, you may take pause and have a moment of doubt. You may wonder if the new robes will descend swiftly enough, or that without what you have known to cling on to, you will be left stark naked, exposed, and vulnerable. Well, can I just say this about that? What I've been learning for myself, and again, your individual mileage is going to vary on this one for sure, for sure, for sure. But that's what this is for me. This is me being me. There's, I had a viewer that was in the intuitive hangout session the other night, and that was the YouTube name, me just being me. hmm Because that is a form of invulnerability. Yeah, what you got? When you're truthful, when you're transparent, when you're willing to see whatever might present itself, what you got? I mean, that being vulnerable and being allowing myself to see into me is a vulnerability that feels like a MFing superpower, not gonna lie. Because that's the way I feel. It's like, yeah, okay, if you've got something for me, I love to hear it because triggering is actually a good thing in my world now. It didn't used to be because, well, hey, that means there's something there for me to look at. And I know that now, and I'd much rather do that because that's how I personally, on my little quest, am getting to the bottom of the truth of who I am. And I don't know, I'm kind of liking that being right now. You may be craning your neck to see who it is that can bestow permission upon you to receive a gift of such dignity, in whom such authority is vested that you may no longer be as the beggar, asking for scraps and contenting yourself with stale crumbs. You may simply decide to shed that, stand up, to walk with your head held erect and with regal grace, and assume your place at the table of divine feasting. Remember that your royal birth certificate is stamped in your heart. There is no authority required, no permission to be granted. You are what you are already and always have been thus. All that is required from you is to realize it. Wow. I'm sorry, but this is just so awesome to me. Uh, this oracle comes to you with sacred portent. I love the fact that that was chosen. Sacred portent. You are fast approaching a moment of a great leap, an evolutionary shift on your spiritual path. Your sense of yourself and your divine identity is about to be revealed and realized in a way more potent than ever before. This is wonderful. It is a divine happening. You must allow it. Do not confuse humility with humiliation. Do not humble yourself excessively. You do not have to battle with false pride either. Simply honor yourself as the living being worthy of life worthy of this royal path of divine realization. There's not one of us that's not worthy, y'all, in any sort of way. No one is left out. That's what the word unconditional is actually supposed to be about. Wow. What a gift it is to cast aside belief in inferiority or superiority, unhelpful as those notions are for you now. My eyes are just so loaded with tears I can't hardly see at all. What a gift instead to embrace your own path, irrespective of what any other may think, whether they hold it in glory or derision. Who cares? Not you nor I. Your royal heritage has been revealed, and in seeing the divinity within yourself, you become blessed to see it in all beings and not a moment before. Understand that. Understand that you cannot recognize it in others until you recognize it and really feel it for yourself in all ways. All ways. And understand right now that I'm speaking to me. This is who I'm talking to. This is my mirror. Don't y'all forget it. Oh, my word. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Who cares? Not you or I. Yeah. Your royal heritage has been revealed, and in seeing the divinity within yourself, you become blessed to see it in all beings, all things, returning to the realism of royalty within. Realization, not realism. Sorry. Oh my gosh, this really is a Tammy Faye moment. I don't wear anything but eyeliner and mascara, even though it does look like I have something on my eyelids, I don't. And nor do I wear lipstick. Oof, I can't stand that stuff. See, I am sort of a masculine girl. What a gift instead to embrace your own path, irrespective of what any other may think, whether they hold it in glory or derision. A simple golden path will be found as though a river of molten gold flows from your heart back to the oceanic heart of the great beloved, where united again, you finally ascend your throne and claim your divinity once and for always. This oracle comes with sacred guidance for you. You are stepping into empowerment in a new way, and it is to be honored. Do not allow yourself to be dragged into dramas or power games. You are worth so much more than that. That is so true. Oh my word. It really is a Tammy Faye moment. I got to get some waterproof mascara, apparently. Oh my God, this is terrible. Oh, change the channel and turn the camera off if it's like triggering you of any sort. It's no worries. It won't hurt my feelings none. Okay, so no, that's not what that says. You are tapping into your inner dignity, and others may not know how to respond. Too true. Some will respond with love and acknowledgement, others with fear and judgment, calling you too big for your boots or high and mighty. Oh, those are voices of fear, not truth. Be in your dignity and power and keep going. It is the divine that urges you thus, not the ego. Do not doubt the changes happening within you now. Embrace them. I intend to, can I just say this? I'm being reminded actually of, and I think I just told this another time. I don't know. I know I told it to somebody. It might have been, ugh, you know how it is when you get old. You know you told a story, but you don't know who it was to or when or whatever. But at any rate, I always did feel like the best I could do if someone offended me was to remove my presence. I never held, I mean, why? At any rate, the point I guess I'm trying to make is there's so many different ways to being shown what it is time to release and whatever to soften, because and it will be so variable for each being, because even the slightest little thing, okay, can become a trauma, can be the original small crack, and then the next kind of thing that's sort of the same but on a different. This is how I see, sense, and feel now, that if one is here to have experiences, well, things have to happen for those experiences to be had. And how seamless and, I don't know, beautiful it all is actually from a different vantage point. Wow. I hope this was helpful. Oh, I have one more card to read. I don't know what I'm doing. I know I was distracted because all of a sudden I was turning into Tammy Faye Baker. And, I'm sorry, but I was really young when she was out there, and they made such fun of that gal. Uh, but that's what that looked like there for a minute for me. Okay, so that is one of the ways that I also disperse. I see that now very clearly too. Things that have to be expressed. We have a lot of comedy around here. uh, I really kind of see it as, I don't know, that's what life is, you know. To me, because once we figure out that we set all of this up, well, the cosmic joke is kind of on us, ain't it? And that we're all one. You can vacillate back and forth from being ticked at yourself to, wow, how clever were we? you know, all back and forth. Hey, now hit the like button. Oh, how sweet of you. It really doesn't matter, except to, for, well, actually, I got to quit saying that. I guess algorithms are also a sort of frequency, right? Well, generally, it's been my experience with Conscious Conversation Central and all the iterations of all the different channels that I've been a part of, that frequentially it felt like there was a resistance there, but still called to do whatever I was called to do. And I never allowed any of that to really stop me. Trust that. But just the very point that there are only 106 subscribers here now, this kind of work is not for everyone until they're ready for it. What this is right here, those, especially those of you that are still here and that have been here from the beginning, this is just sort of a big therapy session for Sheila. in a very real way. Being a projector, I feel, and boy, apparently last night it was open to the entire collective. But if there wasn't a resonance within me, it wouldn't open up. I'm also very clear about that. That's how circuits work. And that is the actual true currency of things. Oh my gosh, I the conscious conversations that I have been so privileged to be a part of for the last 7 or 8 years, just simply entertaining expanded concepts, what that does or did for me and continues to do for me. Whew, I can't even with this. It flips, flip it upside down. Question your beliefs. Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the freedoms. The freedom to choose one's attitude in any given circumstance, to choose one's way. Oh, are we not talking about there being as many ways to do this as there are people on the planet? Didn't we just say that? My goodness, we did. I know we did. And that's a quote apparently from Viktor Frankl. And why does that name sound familiar? Is that a writer or what is that? Anybody that recognizes that, please put it in the comments. The message with this card, which by the way is the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle. What's true in the ordinary world is flipped on its head in the extraordinary world of dreams and the heroic life of magic and miracles. Dun, 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 dun. For me, that's what my life quest feels like. Magic and miracles. I mean, come on, y'all. I went from death's door to what I'm sporting right now, which granted, is but if you only knew, it's quite magical and miracle making. In ordinary life, it's instinctual to run from things that scare you. But when you face those fears in a dream, you increase your personal power. And I want to say this, I got a feeling there's a lot of folks that are having just them kind of dreams right now because I've been hearing about some of it from my own little community here, right? Um, oh, I was just flashed yesterday's Astro Butterfly that I saw too. Maybe I'll record it. Yes, okay. If I get time, I will. Um, Mars just went retrograde too, just so everybody's clear about that. Um, so there's a, oh my word. Okay, thank you. I didn't even connect that to the masculine rising either until just now. Oh, I love being a puzzle piece collector, especially when they just keep presenting. Wow. In ordinary life, it's instinctual to run from things that scare you. But when you face these fears in a dream, you increase your personal power. As I don't, think dreams are anything of what we think they are. That's why I really wanted and still desire. So if you are having these kind of dreams and you want to come and chat about it and you're willing to share, because I got a feeling you would find that a lot of other folks is having the exact same sort of thing. I would love for you to consciousconversationscentral@gmail.com. Tell me what time zone you're in. Maybe we could, get a couple of folks coming and let's chat about that. Because I suspect they are so much more. I mean, it is that, and there's not just one sort of thing for anything. And because we are multidimensional beings, I feel that on every level of myself. In ordinary life, it's instinctual to run from things. I already read that. In dreams, the tragedy of fire and fire, flood, and destruction can symbolize rapid change and new birth. If you get stuck in black and white thinking, all you have to do is to flip your side upside down, literally or figuratively, to see the world from a dream's perspective. Well, there's something about this energy that's presenting, and the fact that I was just called to attention about what I'd read about Mars retrograde and what that actually, energetically, according to this astrologer, feels like. It's a very good thing. It can be perceived as a horrific thing, perhaps, if we have to label it that way for a time. When the sky becomes the ground and the ground becomes the sky, you realize you have the freedom and the ability to flip reality on its head. No matter how rigid the belief or experience is just waiting for you to turn it around. It's all his fault becomes it's all my responsibility. And she doesn't love me transforms into I am loved more than I could ever perceive. Yeah, see, at some point along our way, the idea of uh, I don't want to force anybody to play with me. I would prefer that folks, are attracted for the reasons or whatever, and that goes across all spectrum. I never did understand that kind of a perspective on popularity. It was never something I really wanted to be part of anyway. But I don't know. There's something very, very specific here in regards to how things are perceived, right? Anyway, there's a dream symbol here. Dreams of being upside down. Dreams of something being upside down indicate that you are opening to a more expansive point of view, seeing and beholding your experience from an out of the box perspective. Oh, I invite us all to step out of any kind of box we catch ourselves putting ourselves into, because I have a suspicion that just like a lot of different uh, captive creatures, once you enlarge their cage, they get a little bigger. Yes, they do. Which is why I feel like I was being shown that whole thing about the widening of the communication superhighway within my vessel. So, I can just imagine it is for all of us. What may have seemed like the worst thing that could happen could turn out to be a great blessing in disguise. Well, wow. And I know I've been here way longer than I meant to today. Um, I would love to hear from any one of you the fact that, okay, we have seven folks in here, and I still feel that the larger percentage of who is here carries, if even if female, even and probably most especially if you're female. I happen to know and realize, and well, quite frankly, am okay with the fact that I do know that I have quite a masculine persona. I'm very forthright. I'm very blunt. I'm very speak my mind. These are all masculine traits, honestly. And Libra is also a masculine sign. So in the sun sign portion. So I don't know. And I was just reminded of what Jordan Peterson says about, the things that you can't accept about yourself is what makes you so dangerous. I'm paraphrasing. He didn't say it like that. Oh my God, I don't have a legal department, so let me just say that if I said that wrong, I apologize right here, right now. That was my perception of what I heard him say. Holy Moses, I really I see that my cacao is all over my lips, so that's partly why I guess it's so dark. Well, I hope I hope that this was helpful for you because surrender to divine timing and surrender procrastination. In truth, for me, and I've seen several videos about this, there are there is a theory that procrastination is actually an expression of trauma. And quite frankly, I wouldn't doubt it. So is hyper attention deficit disorder. All of these different things, in my view, have to do with trauma in in varying and different ways. This is my feel about it. I am not a doctor. I play one on my in my mirror. That's what this is actually. And so, but we can flip it upside down. Very interestingly, this is a nine, as is this one, right? Wow. Both of these being a nine, made up of different frequencies. One is the I am, eight is manifestation for me, materialization actually. And this one made up of the two, which is a very catalytic number, of course, and number seven is the number of divinity. So I don't know, all of these numbers going into making up the number nine, and that this one it also card number 17, which is actually an eight numerologically again. For me, not just manifestation, but materialization, right? It just takes a little bit longer because of our beliefs. And if we flip those upside down and step outside of the box. Wow, what a reading today for the collective. And I want to thank all of you beautiful, sacred, masculine beings who happen to reside in the male form for being here. Quite frankly, I was born in 61, and I will say that for a long time I thought that the feminism was the greatest thing. Yes, we can do everything you can do. No. That to me, I see that as no, not on any sort of level. And I also really do see now feminism in a completely different light, I have to say. Um, but of course, because in all honesty, I also was, married and I'm sure that I had past lives that it was even worse, where females were absolutely considered chattel. Well, let's see, what year was this? It was 1983 or 4. And I my child's life was in danger from his biological father. Trust me when I tell you that it was not treated the same as it would be today, right? So I get the feeling that females had because, again, that was a trauma of abandonment, which, by the way, all beings, male or female, we all suffer from the original wound, which really we chose the original separation from the all, from the one. It goes back that far. When we chose to experiment with individualization, there was a ripping and a tearing. Look at it in the Starseed contract. Go ahead. That's on this channel too. I was nudged just recently to go and read that from Zing Dad's site again, probably for myself, if for nobody else, right? So, what was that? Yes, that ripping, that tearing. That's the first wound. And with all the successive lives for the experiments, that first wound set into motion the original trauma that each soul has had from the experiences. And it's meant to be that, in my view, anyway, the whole thing is meant to be exactly that. And this book that hopefully by the end of today, first thing tomorrow, I'll have ready to release. It really did a lot again to point to me the synchronicities that show that that's at least a possibility, plausibility, potential situation we got going on here. Because it feels to me like there's an evolution going on, an internal uh, rise in consciousness across the board. And, there's all different ways to see it and feel it and experience it. And that's what this is saying to me. Uh, if you are feeling open and vulnerable for perhaps even the first time in your life, be gentle with yourself. Honor that. Sit with it. Who knows? It may be the wounded masculine inside begging for your love and attention. And I know each one of us is worth our own attention. I tell you, for me, the results are quite magical. Quite magical. Miraculous, even. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. Thanks for hanging in here. I'll say that. Until we meet again, I hope that you will move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself to you. It really is just a matter of focus and attention and intention. This is how we create anyway. And I know for myself that there are multiple ways of seeing anything. Doesn't matter how it presents. I now know that I have a tendency to label things the minute it comes into view. Shoo, quick, quick draw McGraw. I have to label it so that I can categorize it so I know how to respond to it. And what I now know for myself is slowing that mechanism down and questioning, well, where did you get that belief from? And why do we automatically assume that's true? What is that about? So you see, that up there means way more than anybody might think. And that's why this right here is really part of the quest. Question your beliefs. Yep. Boy, I'm telling you, when I started examining why I was a Democrat, that really did show me quite a bit about questioning one's beliefs. And how did this, what? Till next time, you guys, be well. Oh, I will not be here tomorrow. I am, like I said, I will be traveling tomorrow. Joy isn't bad for his game. I want y'all to know that I used to use when I first got a smartphone, and I was late to that game, but when I first got a smartphone, one of the little stickers that you could use in place of the heart button was this little character with blue hair, and she had almost like a pebbles curl on the top. And I had a baby picture of me just like that. And When I redid my house, you may see in a recording somewhere on the channel where there's the word joy behind my housemate's head there. I found those letters at a yard sale for $2. Well, I always used that little thing. I didn't even know what Pixar was. I did not know there was a movie out. I did not know that her name was Joy. You see how um I don't know, synchronicities work. And I would have never, ever, ever classified myself, but I so started recognizing why I chose her as my heart on my communication thing. Well, I tell you, when you slow yourself down and look at your motives for things, you find some magical connections, man. Absolutely magical. So, till we meet again, y'all be well. Thanks for being here. It will probably be Thursday before I come back. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe Wednesday.